Alright, so today we're going to talk about the third different form that we can write a linear equation in, and this is called a point-slope form. So what happens when you need to write an equation and all we've been given is a point on the graph and a slope? And so this is the time that we would use what we call the point-slope formula, which is y minus y sub 1 is equal to m multiplied by x minus x sub 1. This x sub 1 and the y sub 1 coming from the point that you've been given, and then the m being the slope that you've been given. Okay, so what we're going to do in this problem is we are going to plug those values in and simplify and get it into our slope-intercept form so that we can graph it. So when you're asked to graph or write an equation for one of these lines, we're going to get it into slope-intercept form, but we're going to start with the point-slope formula. Okay, so we're going to use our formula. We're going to plug in the y value first, which is 1. We're going to plug in the 2, which is the slope, and then x minus our x value for the point, which is 4. And then to simplify, we're just going to distribute. So y minus 1 is equal to 2x minus 8. And then we're going to add this 1 over. So we end up with y is equal to 2x minus 7. And that's the equation of this line, just simplified into a slope-intercept form. Okay, so another example, same thing, we're going to use the same formula. We're going to have y minus the y value, which is 0, which is equal to the slope of 2/3 multiplied by x minus the x value here, which is -6. And notice I went ahead and stuck that in parentheses because it's minus a -6, so we don't want to get tripped up on that. So I'm going to bring this down, and I'm going to go ahead and multiply that 2/3. So 2/3 times x is 2/3 x. And then this becomes a positive 6, so x plus 6. So we're going to be multiplying 2/3 times 6, which is a positive 4. And then this 0, we don't have to add anything there or subtract anything there. It's just a 0, so it is going to move on. And we end up with 2/3 x plus 4. So another example, and we'll try to cover several that are just kind of good examples of things that may come up that might trip you up. So here we have again y minus, and in this case it is a -3, is equal to the slope of -1 multiplied by x minus 4. And so I'm going to go ahead and simplify this. I'm going to make sure this minus a negative becomes a positive 3, and then I'm going to distribute this. -1 times x is -x. -1 times -4 is a positive 4. And then just to get my y by itself, I'm going to subtract 3. So y is equal to -x plus 1. Okay. So those are just a couple of examples. We're going to continue on the back. Look at number 7. Same process here. So remember, our point slope formula is y minus 1 y sub 1 is equal to m multiplied by x minus x sub 1. And I'm going to plug those values in. So y minus, and again a -5, is equal to a slope of 1/3 multiplied by x minus a -12. And I'm going to rewrite this with these minus and negatives being a plus sign. So y plus 5 is equal to 1/3 times x plus 12. And now I'm going to distribute that 1/3. So y plus 5 is equal to 1/3 x, and then 1/3 times 12 is positive 4. Okay, now I'm going to subtract my 5 to get the y by itself to get it in slope-intercept form, and we have 1/3 x minus 1. Okay. Alright, then from here, let's go ahead and do number 9, where we do y minus that -9 is equal to -2/5 multiplied by x minus 5. So y plus 9 is equal to -2/5 multiplied by x minus 5. I'm going to distribute that -2/5. So y plus 9 is equal to -2/5 x plus 2, because we multiply that -2/5 times -5, we get a positive 2. And then at this point, if the question was asking you to put it into standard form, you could. You would just move this 9 over and add this x over. And then we would have to do one final step to get everything as a positive integer for our coefficients and constant. That's why it's probably easier to go ahead and just put it into y-intercept or slope-intercept form, because it does take fewer steps, and we know that we can graph straight from the slope-intercept form and get more information out of it than we can in standard form. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract the 9. So y is equal to negative 2/5 x minus 7. Okay, and I'm going to do just a couple more examples. If you look at number 11, we're going to plug this in. Y minus a negative 1 is equal to negative 4/3 multiplied by x minus a negative 6. And I'm going to go ahead and change these minus and negatives over to a plus. Okay, and then I'm going to distribute this negative 4/3. So y plus 1 is equal to negative 4/3 x, and the negative 4/3 times 6 becomes a negative 8. Let's give that just a second to catch up. Sorry, it gets a little bit tripped up occasionally. Okay, so then I'm going to subtract the 1 and end up with negative 4/3 x minus 9 for my slope-intercept form. Okay, let's look at number 13. Same process again. We're plugging these values in. So negative 4 is equal to slope of 0 this time, x minus 3. And I'm going to go ahead and change this to y plus 4, and I'm going to go ahead and distribute my 0. So this becomes 0x minus 0, which is all just 0. So y plus 4 is equal to 0. And then I need to subtract the 4. And so my equation here is y equals negative 4. Okay, and that makes sense, because if a line has a slope of 0, we know it's a horizontal line, and so every y value for this line is going to be negative 4, making that horizontal line. So that makes perfect sense. Alright, next one, number 15. We're going to have y minus 1 is equal to negative 1/4 multiplied by x minus that negative 4. I'm going to go ahead and trade that minus a negative over to a plus 4. And then I'm going to distribute that negative 1/4. So negative 1/4 x, and then it becomes a minus 1 here. Then I'm going to add the 1, and y equals negative 1/4 x. The negative 1 and the plus 1 zero out, so it's going to have a y-intercept of 0. So this is kind of the basics. It's just plugging values into a formula and then seeing what you get out. You've got all these even problems that you can practice with. You can use these as a guide to help you with this, and if you do have any questions, you can let me know.